one particularly horrible feature of polio is that most people don't get symptoms, or they get a cold, they get a flu, and then in about 1 in 200 cases it causes paralysis.
All children in London aged between 1 and 9 are to be offered a booster polio vaccination. The Times Health correspondent Eleanor Hayward is in the studio to explain why. Afternoon.
Hello.
What's going on with this?
So a couple of months ago, the UK Health Security Agency announced that they'd detected polio in sewage samples in London. They declared a national incident. There wasn't too much cause for concern at the time because it was very isolated and they didn't think it would necessarily be spreading in the community. But over the past few weeks, more samples of different sewage plants have been taken, and this shows that the virus is spreading, and it's been found in 8 London boroughs, mainly in northeast London. And that's an indication that it's spreading through the community, probably in unvaccinated children. And so they've launched they've this morning announced this unprecedented vaccine drive. Over the next 4 weeks, all parents of children aged between 1 to 9 will be invited, this is in London only, to book their child in for an extra polio vaccine.
And there's a lot to unpack there. Why only children and why only London?
So only in London because the virus has only been detected in London. London also has low vaccination rates compared to the rest of the country. And it's got a more densely packed population. It's, kind of the ideal place for a virus to spread. And only children, because children tend to be the worst affected by polio, and because most adults have had all 5 vaccinations. So children routinely get 5 vaccinations on the NHS, and we've all had those when we were growing up. But children get 3 as babies and then 1 at the age of 3 before starting school. But take-up in London's only 75% for those.
So although we're talking about a top-up, actually this is a drive to maybe just drive up to take-up rates that should be there already.
And also they hope that by boosting immunity, even in children who are fully vaccinated, that will mean they're less likely to spread the virus. Even though you're very, very unlikely to get it if you're fully vaccinated, the higher immunity levels possible, then the less likely they're to spread it. So
this comes after the vaccine-derived polio virus was detected in sewage in Barnet, Brent, Camden, Enfield, Hackney, Haringey, Islington and Waltham Forest. A lot of those are sort of drifting out of London.
Yeah.
At what point does it become a problem outside? I mean, particularly because lots of people commute in and out of London as well.
Yeah.
Is there a concern it spreads beyond the borders of London?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the minute, they're prioritising London because London's where it's been detected. But you can really see this getting expanded to the whole country, potentially, once this vaccination drive in London is complete. Interestingly, actually, this virus found in London has been linked to a case in New York where someone was paralysed. It was genetically the same virus. So, with travel links, whether that's getting the train up north or getting on a plane to New York,
those things can...
the virus can spread.
Well, in a statement in the last few minutes, the Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, said, "I recognise parents and guardians will be concerned about the detection of polio in London. However, I want to reassure people that nobody has been diagnosed with the virus and the risk to the wider population is low. Vaccines offer the best defence to children and those around them, so I'd encourage families to ensure they're up to date with their routine jabs and to come forward for the polio booster as soon as they're contacted by the NHS." How is it then that it's been picked up in sewage plants, but nobody's come forward as having been diagnosed with it?
Because one particularly horrible feature of polio is that most people don't get symptoms, or they get a cold, they get a flu, and then in about 1 in 200 cases it causes paralysis. But that means that, say, a whole classroom of children could theoretically be infected with polio. You wouldn't know, and then out of the blue someone gets these horrible symptoms. So it's very hard to track as a disease. So it's found in sewage, but no one's actually been diagnosed with polio. It's all a bit confusing.
So it is that people have got it.
Yeah.
They just haven't been diagnosed because they aren't displaying any symptoms.
But it's found in this routine monitoring of sewage plants for virus.
And how, because it's we all became experts in this, the Independent Joint Committee on Vaccination Immunisation, the JCVI. During the pandemic, we obviously became, experts in their work and so on. How much of a part is what happened during the pandemic and the sort of quick reaction, all that? Do you think they would be doing this quickly were it not for what happened before?
No, it's really impressive reaction actually, because the Joint Committee of Vaccination and Immunisation, they've acted really quickly, and it's mainly a precautionary step. It's also a huge drive. If you think of the booster vaccination programme, when everyone was jabbed within a couple of months. This is on a similar scale to that. It's 1 million children in total. They're all going to be vaccinated in the next 4 weeks. And that level of sort of immediate vaccination had not been seen until the pandemic. And it shows we're really learning the lessons from it, I think.
Well, at least that's some positive take out of it. Really good speech as ever. Eleanor Hayward, Times health correspondent. You can